Retro gaming is more expensive than it has ever been. If you want to play a physical copy of something like Pokemon Crystal or The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on original hardware, you're looking at spending hundreds of dollars. That's no joke, just check the prices in eBay. But what if I told you that for about 30 bucks you can put the entire Game Boy library or Game Boy Color library, such as the device I have here, thousands of games onto a single cartridge. And I know this is not something new, we have the EverDrive since years, and they are the best devices to do so. There is one problem though. Those devices are great, but they come at a higher cost. This is the Game Boy GB Pro Plus One Press to Menu OS version 4 low power consumption. So yeah, this is a clone of the so famous EverDrive cards I bought from AliExpress for 19 euros. So it's a clone of the legendary EverDrive GB. And in this video I'm gonna try to find out if this budget-friendly time machine is actually a hidden gem, or you're better off saving your 20 bucks on the real thing and just don't buy it. We're gonna look at the loading speed, the saving system, because this is very important. Can this thing save games? And also one major catch that might be a deal breaker specifically for Pokemon fans. Let's go. So what the hell exactly we're looking at? It's a flash cartridge. So inside this plastic shell there is a special chip, and there is also a slot for the microSD. Now online I read that this thing comes with a microSD card of 4G preloaded. My unit came with no card at all. I'm not sure why. Probably, yeah, you can guess why. And the build quality on this thing isn't exactly cheap. I mean, I was expecting really to get like a real knockoff product, which this thing actually is, but nevertheless, it ain't looking that bad. And this specific model, the OS version 4, supports original Game Boy, DMG, the Game Boy Pocket, and the Game Boy Color that I have here. And even Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Advanced SP. As I mentioned, no microSD arrived with my unit, so I have to use one of my own, and I'm going to show you the setup. It's incredibly easy. Let me take my cartridge reader and connect this to my PC. So this is my microSD card. As you see, I've created several folders. The reason for that being the fact that you have circle limitation of how many ROMs or games you can put in a folder, something like 600. So I just dumped some of my favorite things directly in these folders. But what is even more interesting is there's going to be a folder called EDGB. And inside there's going to be a save folder. And inside the save folder, you're going to see there are SRM files. And those are really save files, which is pretty cool because this thing can really support your save games, and it's going to take the save games and write them to your microSD card. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not an original EverDrive, so there are limitations. The EverDrive has a much more powerful chip and it's going to be much more quicker in loading games, which you're going to see because this thing, well, I'm going to show you, this thing writes all the games from the microSD card to the chip inside every time you want to load a game. But the good thing is, yeah, you will at least have save games, which means that you can progress to your data. Now, something very, very important. Two things actually. This thing does not support save states, which you know how it goes. I can take something like my favorite Mio Mini Plus. Every game that I play here, I can immediately save the state of it, and I can just continue exactly at the moment I have stopped, which is not exactly the situation here, so you can only rely on the original save games. And probably the biggest deal breaker for Pokemon lovers, this card does not have a real-time clock. You might think like, why the heck do I need a real-time clock? Well, in some games, like some of the Pokemon games, yeah, the real-time clock is used to know when you have a day and night and just follow the cycle through the game. This thing does not support that. So if you're a diehard Pokemon fan, you're better off skipping this. Now see here, those are my save states on my Mio Mini Plus, and I can immediately just go and launch any game I want. And the thing is, yeah, it will continue just exactly on the moment I have stopped the game. This is something that you cannot do here with this card, which is sad, but yeah, it only costs 19 euro, and the original EverDrive X7 model right now is 130 USD. Alright, all my games are here, so I'm just gonna take the micro SD card and I'm gonna put it here. Boom, just like this. Now, something that I have to say is a positive. The plastic here feels sturdy and solid, definitely not brittle now. It looks like a knockoff product, but it doesn't really look like from the worst quality. And I can show you, this is an original cartridge, original game, F1 Championship from the Game Boy Color. You can see we have Game Boy Color here and it looks pretty solid. another original game, alright? You can see like the original products from Nintendo, they're really pretty great. And I can show you like a cheap knockoff card. Yeah, this is how they look like. I mean, just look like shit, right? This thing is somewhere in the middle. Now, before I put it in my Game Boy Color, I want to share something very important with you. There is this clicky button. Yeah, and that's a good thing because it's a reset button and it's going to bring you always back to the menu. Okay, enough talking. Now let me take my Game Boy and I'm gonna put it. The cartridge is in my Game Boy Color and now it's time to power this thing on. Boom, here we are. The Game Boy logo appears and yep, disk is initialized and this is actually what you get. So you don't get like a fancy UI. You can directly just navigate from all the folders. I have my ROMs 1, the EDGB, the ROMs 2, 3 and 4. Right, so how do I go inside? If I select the folder and I press A, nothing is gonna happen, which is pretty irritating. I'm not sure why they did it like this, but actually the B is the select button. So if I press B now, you can see I'm gonna be able to load some of my games. And I can just scroll to the screen here, page 1 of 46. Now if I want to move to the next screen, I need to press the right arrow. Now I am already on page 2, 3, 4, and if I want to go back, I just need to press A and boom, here I am. Now while I'm on the main menu, I have two options. If I click select, we're gonna hit the main options menu. Let me show, this is absolutely bonkers. If I go and show the device info, you can see CPLD version 1, BIOS version 1, OS version 1, system type GBC, and it's a bit weird. If you click on the about, you're gonna see developed by KY Technology. Previous version of this thing were even showing the original information from Kirk's side, which was a bit weird. I mean, yeah, it's a knockoff product anyway, but now they kind of changed it. So, okay, developed by KY Technology, yeah, rather more like clone by KY Technology, support KY Technology, and then you have some control. And then we have also some other things such as options. The good thing is it has support for different mappers, MBC1, MBC2, MBC3, and then ROM and MBC5, so if you want to play like bigger sized games or whatever. And also the ROM side that it supports 256K, then we have 512K, we have 1 megabyte, 2 megabytes, 4 megabytes, and it can go up to 8 megabytes and then 64K. I'm just gonna leave it at a default. And then we have the RAM size, 32K, 0K, 8K, 16K, 32K as the biggest one. And then save RAM, you have yes and no. Right, I'm gonna choose yes here and I'm gonna go outside. This is also pretty neat. Cheats, I mean, yeah, if you know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm just definitely going to exit. Now I'm gonna show you something cool. I'm gonna press the start button as I already have loaded a game inside a cartridge and my Game Boy is just gonna boot like if a proper cartridge has been installed, which is pretty neat, right? And you might think, oh, you know, this is so cool, I can just juggle off all my games. Well, not really, because I want to show you what is going to happen right now. All right, so this is Aladdin and it's going to start. Now remember the clicky button. When I press the clicky button, this is going to work as a reset switch, which is pretty cool because you don't have to kill your Game Boy all the time. And now I'm going to show you something more interesting. I'm going to select this game here, the NBA Jam. I'm going to press the B button. So right now I have two options. I can load the game and start it, and I can only load it. But what does actually loading the game means? I'm going to show you. When I press load and start, every time I do this, the cartridge has to physically write this game to the chip inside. And this is the so-called flushing process. So if you're playing something small, maybe like Tetris, yeah, maybe it's going to be something like 3, 5, 10 seconds. But if you're loading like a massive game that is 4 megabytes, such as like Pokemon Gold or Donkey Kong Land 3, you're going to be waiting like 15, 20 seconds, which is a bit annoying. And this is also one of the main differences with the X7, because on the X7, the original thing, this is almost instantaneously, right? It uses a different technology. It really like streams the ROMs inside. It has a different chip. Well, this is a bit basic, but you can see I was able to load the game and I can now play the game as well. So it's not that bad if you want to just relive some of your childhood memories, you know, on a device like this. If you don't like this game or any game, remember we have this button, boom, kill it off, go back to the main menu. And I really like the fact that they have inserted a reset switch, because on the original device, yeah, if you're done with the game, boom, you have to kill it off, I mean, and then just go and swap the cartridge. Let's load something bigger. I'm gonna use Donkey Kong Country. So I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna click load and start. So what is happening right now, the cartridge is releasing the previous game that I loaded, the NBA Jam, from the memory inside. And you can see it's very slow. So it will need to erase the previous game and then it will need to write the new game from the microSD card on the chip inside, right? So switching games is not as pleasant as it's going to be on a original EverDrive card. You see, now we are in the writing process. And I think it's taking something like 15, 20, probably up to half a minute. So you have to factor this in if you want to go cheap and just pay 20 bucks the way I did. Yeah, this is for sure one big limitation. You will have to do a lot of waiting if you want to just juggle between your favorite games. And as I'm speaking, you can see it really takes time to load the bigger ROM from the micro SD card directly in the chip inside the cartridge. And yes, it's still loading. Alright, and now the game has loaded, and now my Game Boy Color has been restarted, and finally now I have Donkey Kong Country. So in a nutshell, this thing works, but the downside really is the loading speed. So if you really are not equipped with a lot of patience, well, this is probably not for you, right? But as you can see, the games are loading quite nice, and as you can see here, all the games, they do play pretty nice. It's almost like the real thing. Well, it kind of is. Alright, let me just hit the reset button again and go back to the main menu. Let's talk save games. There is this folder called EDGB. Inside I'm gonna have the save, so let's say I played some Zelda, Legend of Zelda, The Link's Awakening. I can click here and I can either copy the file to the SRAM or I can copy the SRAM to the file, right? So you have to choose what you want. And this thing here is a very important function because this clone card doesn't really have the high-end feature to allow autosaving, because again, the chip from the original EverDrive X7 is different, much more powerful than this. Here, you are in control. You need to tell it when to move your save data around. Think of it like this. You're sitting on your computer or on your PC, and this is actually the SRAM, your computer desktop. And then you have a USB stick. You're putting the USB stick on your computer, and this is actually the file or the SD card. So, what exactly are those options? The first one, copy file to SRAM. You can use this when you want to play a game and you want to continue from your old save. So I played some Zelda, I did save in-game, right? And then the save SRAM file has been written by the cartridge to the microSD card. If I want to continue this game, but before that I just played another game, I will have to erase the game, I will need to write back Zelda, and then I need to copy the file to the SRAM. So what actually happens, it takes the SRAM from the SD card and it injects it into the cartridge temporary memory, which is SRAM. And then the Game Boy can read it. Alright, so that's very important. What is the other option here? We have a second option, and this is called copy SRAM to file. So imagine you finish playing and you want to make sure that your progress is saved onto the S card. Right, select this, and then it's gonna take the live save data that is currently held inside the cartridge internal temporary memory, the SRAM, and it's gonna write it into this SRAM file. And I know it's a bit of confusing, but those are kind of the limitations that you have. And if we can think about some golden rules about how we can use those clones and those like cheap knockoffs from AliExpress, this is really how it works. So you boot up the card, you select your game, and then the card is gonna ask you, oh, you wanna copy the file to SRAM? Yes. If it doesn't ask you, like in my case, you need to do this manually. Then you play your game, you do your thing, you know, you collect all the medals and etc. Then when you finish the game, you need to save inside the game's menu. And then you can hit the reset and go back on the cartridge menu. And if this sounds weird to you, think of it like this. If you clicked SRAM to file after playing, you just saved your game. But if you clicked file to SRAM before playing, you just loaded the game. And I know it sounds a bit tricky, but you might experiment with those things. The good thing is, yes, at least the original in-game save functionality is here. Alright, now let me load up some Zelda, and let's just discuss the deal breakers, because apparently two major deal breakers. The first one is there are no save states, which means you cannot just save the game exactly where you are, such as you can do on a device like this and on the original EverDrive card. You can only rely on the in-game saves, which is not bad, but yeah. And it's probably a bit more realistic to kind of like the original experience. And the second big deal breaker is the fact that this device doesn't have a real-time clock. And this is important because games such as Pokemon Gold, Crystal or Silver, they rely on the internal clock to track day and night. And because this card doesn't have a real-time clock chip, time moves only when the Game Boy is turned on. So to fix this, you can use some RDC patched ROMs to let you set the time manually every time you play, but it's a bit of a hassle. But the good thing is, yeah, it's not impossible. But we need to tamper with the ROMs, download a patched ROM and stuff like this, and then you need to set your time manually. Besides this, I'm really happy with the product. I mean, this is almost like 30 years old, and every time putting cards inside, I have a feeling that this thing is gonna break. So at the end of the day, if you're like me, a casual gamer, you want to revisit like Link's Awakening, Super Mario Land, or Kirby or whatever, you know, we want to play Donkey Kong with a real device, a real screen. By the way, no mods here, like this is the pure experience with the real buttons. For 20 bucks, this feels almost like a steal to me. Now, if you are like a Pokemon speedrunner and you absolutely rely on the save states to get through difficult games, maybe not only Pokemon like Mega Man or whatever, yeah, you need to probably pay the top dollar and buy the original product, because this thing, yeah, can be frustrating. Also, like AliExpress will tell you, never try to update the firmware on this thing from the original Krix website, because it's just gonna break this thing. Now, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Did you also buy one of those? And if that's the case, yeah, do you think it's a good product or not? VST over and bye.